Yoga for healing. What's up? What's up? On this Karmicville Wednesday. Man, I think it was about 11 o'clock before I realized it was Wednesday. I'm like, what? I heard somebody say Wednesday. I'm like, it's Wednesday already? But anywho, I pre-shuffled this deck that was calling me. And we have on the bottom exhaustion, depletion, on a journey that's been quite fast-paced. Although you have observed and enjoyed some of the scenery, it's been a long journey. You know how those road trips can be. I love them. Always have, since I was a little girl. Still love road trips, even if it's on a train. Yeah. The scenery can be nice. Depends on the route. But let's see. Holy Spirit, Divine Ancestors, what is it that we need to know? Oh, that's why there's exhaustion, turmoil, unstable, and very much affected. That little glimmer of light they see, they have to stay where they're seated, free to observe, not to touch. Holy Spirit Divine, what is it that we need to know? Okay, Divine Feminine, what's up, what's up? What's going on? Divine Feminine energy. I know one thing that's going on. There's going to be some fakers that are no longer going to be able to keep up with the real, authentic ones. I can see their struggle already. That's why they come up in the readings. I wanted to say breathing. In the readings, like they're suffocating. Because they are. By their own words. What do we need to know? The Divine Feminine. Memories. Reminiscing, dwelling, bittersweet. Is this about those that do not heal, that are dwelling on those memories? Or is this about those that have bittersweet memories but are not dwelling on the past, but may reminisce here and there on the good and the bad, not dwelling? You may have a soulmate that you had to leave in the past, and it's very bittersweet. Because this was supposed to be a union, a connection, one of divine design. There's someone reminiscing. What do we need to know? Someone that's stressed out, that's been wearing a mask, and you caught their bluff on. Someone that's been pretending. Now, this can go a lot of different ways. Because this could be a masculine dealing with a divine so-called feminine that's calling out their bluff. This could also be a divine feminine that's calling out the bluff of someone pretending to be a divine feminine and calling out their bluff. Whoever it is, there's an energy dealing with a divine feminine that's stressed out. Billing. They might be worried about bills. They might be getting weighed down, stressed out because them pockets getting hit. Because I'm just saying, picking up a jealous copycat, masculine or feminine. But I believe this is pointing at someone that's pretending to be a divine feminine. Because, see, there's separations, there's splits, multiple events, different reasons. It's not just a split between the good and the bad. There's also those areas where there's the groups called divine feminine, where those not so divine have to be weeded out from there, and so on and so on. What do we need to know about this divine feminine? Someone that's not allowing a second chance or an opportunity, and someone that's not confused. That's a divine feminine, it sounds like to me, that's calling someone's bluff. Someone that's craving and wanting her, but I believe that she's craving and wanting, longing for new, fresh beginnings, new blooms. It is spring. That may be also why they're reminiscing, feeling bitter, wanting new beginnings. But this is someone that's of the past. What do we need to know? Wow. Someone that's not able to solve this with beverages or other distractions of choice. This is someone that's stuck in their memories, stuck in conflict. They can't make a decision because they've been so hot and cold, having these multiple choices, they thought. But there's one divine feminine that's avoiding, that escaped. Or they may be wanting to escape this imprisonment that they're in, dwelling. But this is someone that you are avoiding. And at the same time, calling them out. Well, they say hit dogs holler. They're stuck in their conflict and they're dwelling on the past. The depth and the awareness. Now they're seeing the importance for a commitment. If you want to be a divine masculine, they understand that they're stuck because they can't come any closer, because they can't go any deeper, because of their awareness doesn't go that far. Because they're not aware of their importance. They're not aware of their own value. They're stuck in confusion, and you won't allow a second chance for them to come in and say they want to offer you a commitment as a divine masculine, and this has them stressed the hell out. Sounds like a personal problem, their heart fog. Something that they need to do to make themselves feel human. Because they're blocked, held up, constipated with those emotions, feeling messed up. Not even substances are allowing them release of this awareness that they're now being forced to see, that you called their bluff. Turned down for what? The depth, the awareness, the value, the importance. You're clinging to that, and that makes them feel hopeless. You're holding and clinging on to self, not casting your pearls. You know they're spying, they're obsessing, but they're not that deep. This is why they feel like they're sinking, because they can't hold their breath, and they're not breathing, speaking, living, walking in their truth. For that type of intimacy, that type of bond, that type of energy that you can confide in. Be relaxed, comfortable, both growing, but connected. Being playful. This is making them so hopeless because they wanted to be this divine masculine, but they've been blocked. You release them, they don't want to let go. But see, you are off to a deeper love, a deeper connections. They don't want to let go, so what do we need to know? They're going to continue to chase because they love toxicity. It's the only thing they know. Give us a card on them not wanting to release. They don't want you to see, first off, how they're in the conflict, how they're actually chasing, and how, yes, your energies clash because they have not healed. They see that you're better off, happy, in a clear mindset. You've had awakenings, several of them. Now they're stressed because they're coming to realize this. This is not a joke. So they're feeling stressed because they're not getting that new beginning, that fresh start. They're not growing. They're broken, shattered, heartbroken, destroyed, and they'll keep spewing lies because that mask is all they have. They're hollow underneath. There's nothing within it. You see, I can see straight through, and that's what's going on. We're seeing straight through these masks. So now, did I do that? Oh, I'm so sorry. But see, they've been blocked. They're not a part of your lineage, your family. There's no cord connected. There's no second chance. And that's what the ancestors said. That's a bad man with jam. That's right. Can you catch the vibe? Can you go with the flow? The ebb and flow. Without wearing that mask. Nope. They can't breathe. They can't do a damn thing. But they're still thinking about coming in. Knight of Cups energy. Wanting to offer you some kind of gigolo romance. Saying, oh baby, that's wine in that cup. Have a sip. But you're not confused. So what is it we need to know about this confusion that they want us to be in? They're in sorrow. Because again, they see it's wishful thinking to have new beginnings because they're not standing in their truth. They're avoiding it at all costs. But they want the prize. They want the new beginnings, which they're not getting. Because we're not confused, and we're not desperate, and we have pure, clean, open, huge loving hearts. They're just mad it ain't for them. No more. So this has brought them to a ruin that they are in denial of. They're not seeing what's coming. All them swords they threw, it's coming through their back door. They're going to suffer mental breakdowns, a ruin, complete failure. So forget about the bitterness. It's what you reaped. Now you're sowing it. The betrayal, the deceit, the deep wounds. You refuse to heal, but you wanted to cause. Not living in your truth. What about these new beginnings that they want? They want to have a new beginning, but they're living in a lie. Coming in to offer you a breadcrumb. Because they see they're clinging to you. This King of Wands energy that pretends to be a leader. This breadcrumb offer that they're using or wanting to use to try to cling on, you walked away from. That Page of Wands, that's not a king. They came with a freaking breadcrumb. Something you can make one of the tiniest, world's smallest cheese, grilled cheese sandwich. You know, like you take a crouton and then you cut that in half. And then you take that half and then you cut that in half. And then you take that half and then you slice that into a thinner half. And then you put that with some butter on the grill. And then you add some little slices and specks of cheese. Add the other slice. Yeah, I've seen it done. See, that's the only opportunity they have, is to offer you a breadcrumb. And they're doing this because they want to celebrate with you. They see your enjoyment. You're having fun. They're involved in a community that they've been gathering with. What's this opportunity that they're not getting, that you're heading to these new opportunities? Queen of Wands comes out now. So we have a Page of Wands and a Queen of Wands energy. Who is this Queen of Wands, or is this that same energy that's confused even about their sexuality? This is someone that you're not taking any offers, and they refuse to call. Now they're sitting. They're heading in a new direction, and they're about to take action. Or that may be you not taking their cup as many times as they offered it. Queen of Wands energy. This may be why they come and show up as a Page of Wands and you walked away. Because you saw new opportunities going solo dolo in your Queen of Wands energy. Being confident, passionate, independent, and having the strength, the courage, the focus to overcome whatever they wanted to send your way. You were ready for it. They talking about they with the smoke, not knowing you had the fire. Now they're gaining a new perspective because that shit's come to an ending. They're blocked from that life of luxury, that abundance, the elegance, being self-sufficient and independent. This King of Cups that came to give you an offer, you closed this cycle on. So this was definitely a shapeshifter. Here we are, the King of Wands again. See how they shift? We have Page of Pentacles, breadcrumb offer, wanting to come and swing they wand in your face, and you turned away. You're like, this is better. Kept it pushing because you know about these opportunities. You're confident, you're strong, you're aware, you're not a dingbat, and you're not desperate, and you definitely are not a pick-me. Whether this is male or female energy that you're in. This here, I'm picking up the energy of that copycat. The one that's in conflict. The one that you didn't take this was a copycat also. Not only were they imitating you and showing up as like Page of Wands or King of Wands or King of Cups, because they kept shifting. Because it was all about trying to get this luxury. But you closed that cycle. So what about this offer? Yes, with the group. That's why they're in conflict. They needed you for their fulfillment, their joy, their new opportunities, their growth. Give me a card on this King of Cups energy. Yeah. Self-entrapment. Ha ha. They thought they were getting another chance. Here they come again. I don't think so. Tower. A tower. Because you came from an empress. One who maintains balance, harmony, peace, and sees through the illusions. They may even work with trickster spirits themselves. You had yourself fooled with these offers of passion, being fearless, coming in, thinking that this was an option. You were definitely in an illusion. Because an empress, a divine feminine, is not an option. And there are no cords attached, including for those that work behind the scenes, already committed working in a group that come in shape-shifting, thinking they have multiple chances. Joke's on you again. Deuces.